Excuse me. Gosh. My voice is, I don't know, maybe I'm hitting puberty. That'd be nice. So anyway, if you've hit puberty, go ahead and hit subscribe while you got a chance. All right, look at this. So China regrets casualties in Ukraine, but reminds world of Russia's demands. This is the sleeping gorilla in the corner. Whatever it is, the euphemism is to describe this. This is it. This is the emerald dragon, the Pete's giant, whatever it is. This is it. China, they're not sanctioning Russia. Now, just think like this: what if Russia sanctioned the United States? Because it's the same thing, but the sanctions are stopping us from getting Russian goods. All right. What are you missing out on? What is different here? I mean, this is, if we weren't getting Chinese goods, oh man, that would suck. But like, Russia, I mean, what do they make? Right? People don't care. China has expressed regret over the loss of civilian lives in Ukraine for the first time. Beijing still refuses to call it an invasion. That's interesting. Is it an invasion? I don't know. How do you define that? And I say, how do you define it? I'm not talking about how you yourself defines it. I'm not talking about how the U.S. government defines it, but how does the Chinese government define it? Because it's going to have effects later on when, you look at Hong Kong already. You look at Taiwan's out there. When Russian forces began bombarding Ukrainian territory in February, Chinese Foreign Ministry suggested that there already had been non-military casualties in the conflict. Its tone softened on Tuesday. The Ukrainian government counted at least 352 casualties, blah, blah. The current situation in Ukraine is a result of many complex historical and realistic factors. China regrets the casualties. The current situation is not what we wanted to see, ministry spokesperson Wang told reporters at the daily press conference following inconclusive peace talks mediated by Belarus. China said it supports and encourages all diplomatic efforts conducive to ending the crisis. He emphasized the need for restraint on all sides. Let's see here. In response to another question, the official reported Beijing's position of solidarity with Moscow. Solidarity with Moscow. By calling for a sustainable security architecture in Europe without what China calls a Cold War mentality and military blocs. China is now listening to this station because what they're saying right there is the Cold War mentality. That is what I've been calling the geriatric international politics, the Jimmy Carter style of international relations. This is, it's silly, it's obtuse, it is something that has, in the sector of international political thought, it's antiquated. We don't do stuff like this anymore. We don't do sanctions anymore. We don't do all stuff. You'll hear something about a sanction, and it's silly. Here's a question. Why aren't we imposing tariffs instead of sanctions? What are sanctions? You can say sanctions all the time. You can use the word a million times. Listen, sanctions, sanctions, sanctions. Did that do anything? Did it do anything? Did it change anything? No, it didn't. You have to put out there, what's the end result you want? How you're going to achieve that end result, when that end result is going to happen, be able to show your work for it. And when you say sanctions, what are the sanctions you're imposing? Oh, it's all digital stuff. You ever notice that? It's like, oh, we're not going to allow them to bank. Banking's been going on for thousands of years. There's been some kind of currency. Okay? Because the Bank of San Francisco is not going to trade with, the Bank of the Red Kremlin. I don't know. And they're just sitting there saying, oh, it's all this and that. I saw some guy the other day trying to defend the U.S. payment to Iran of billions of dollars when Biden was there with his buddy Obama, and he said, "Oh, it was their money anyway." Yeah, well, this is Russia's money, okay? And you're now holding it in these countries that you said you said former presidents that oh well, we ought to return it, it's theirs, but now we're not. I mean, do you see how when you have to have consistency in politics? You have to have a norm. You have to have an expected outcome, a reasonably expected outcome for the circumstances that are presented in front of you. If you don't have a reasonably expected outcome, what happens is chaos. And granted, chaos is fair. It's not fair in the means that you think it is. It's fair in the means of God made man, Sam Colt made man equal. That's not how societies grow and thrive. Okay, you have a reasonable expectation when you go out in public to not have your life disrupted. It's a joyful experience every time you get to go to Target, to Walmart, to Dollar General, something like that. It should always be an enjoyable thing. You don't expect to go there and get in fights with people. You don't expect to have popcorn thrown at you at the movie theater. It's called a society, and it's what civility is. And that same thing applies to politics and international politics. And culturalism is very important, even though we're trying to destroy it in America. It matters so much to these other countries. And when you come out looking like a turd wrinkle to these people, they're not going to respect you. So China is standing with Moscow. Nobody is standing with us. We're sitting here going in someplace. We have no reason. We have no idea why. All we know is that over the last 5 years or so, everything they've told us, everything our leaders in this country have told us about Russia has been manipulated into a narrative. And now I'm afraid the narrative could cost American lives. And it's already affecting your lives. If you don't think $4 a gallon pump, because you've got some new fancy car that doesn't need $4 gasoline, you don't think that's going to affect everybody all the way across the board, you're wrong. And just remember, 18-wheelers get 6 miles a gallon. Taking stuff from Amazon to your house, okay? To not be covering the State of the Union address, please subscribe, like, share, hit that little ding-ding-dong button, and check out tonight. We'll have a good time. You got to put in the comments. Don't come in, do a drive-by. You got to come in and you got to say, hey, could you talk about this? And we'll be talking about it, okay? So, till next time, till later, love you guys, and peace.